Let's go back to the Constituent Assembly, 1949. Jamul Hussain, you can guess his religion by his name. He was a member of the Constituent Assembly from Bihar. And he says, I want to tell the House, sir, that there is no minority in this country. I do not consider myself a minority in a secular state. And it's very strange that we have a Muslim representative speaking of a secular India. And he says there is no such thing as minority. I've got the same rights, status, and obligations as anybody else. I wish those who consider themselves as the majority community would forget that there is any minority today in this country. Very remarkable. Was he heard? No, of course not. This kind of view didn't find any expression in the Constitution. He was not the only one. Damodar Swarup Seth from what was formerly United Province, today Uttar Pradesh. I feel, sir, that in a secular state, minorities based on religion or community should not be recognized. If they are given recognition, then I submit that we cannot claim that ours is a secular state. Recognition of minorities based on religion or community is the very negation of secularism. This is something that Oxford Dictionary would agree with. H.C. Mukherjee, a member from West Bengal, someone told me recently that he was a Christian. I've not been able to check. Doesn't matter for our purpose. He asked, are we really honest when we say that we are seeking to establish a secular state? This was part of this whole debate, whether secularism should be integrated in the Constitution, and the final decision was no. Are we really honest when we say that we are seeking to establish a secular state? If your idea is to have a secular state, it follows inevitably that we cannot afford to recognize minorities based upon religion. And finally, Vallabhbhai Patel himself. In the long run, it would be in the interest of all to forget that there is anything like majority or minority in this country, and to accept that in India there is only one community. And the Constituent Assembly stood up and applauded. This was the conclusion of this debate. Unfortunately, the Constitution did not follow this line of thought. For good or bad, I don't think I would have done much better had I been there. I'm not trying to criticize the fathers of the Constitution. They had a very difficult job to do. They did the best they could. But is it not time that we should reflect on these issues a little more deeply than we are doing? Came Munshi, the great statesman. He was a minister in several post-independent ministries. He was a freedom fighter with Mahatma Gandhi. He was, as you know, the founder of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and he had very strong cultural interests. He said, the word secularism in India has no bearing on the attitude or conduct of individuals nor of religious groups. However, it has been used as a slogan of varying significance. Slogan of varying significance, that's a very good phrase. In its name, anti-religious forces sponsored by secular humanism or communism condemn religious piety, particularly in the majority community. In its name, minorities are immune from such attention and have succeeded in getting their demands, however unreasonable, accepted. In its name again, politicians in power adopt a strange attitude which, while it condones the susceptibilities, religious and social, of the minority communities, is too ready to brand similar susceptibilities in the majority community as communalistic and reactionary. This was written in the 1940s. I hope it rings a bell in some of you at least. How secularism sometimes becomes allergic to Hinduism will be apparent from certain episodes related to the reconstruction of the Somnath temple. These unfortunate postures have been creating a sense of frustration in the majority community. So you can see here a lot of tensions already building up. And these tensions are simply the result of the choice of wrong words and wrong concepts, nothing else. And they could have been avoided, in my humble opinion.